Good evening. I'd like to call to order our September 24th meeting, and we will begin our meeting with the flag salute. Dr. Cash, would you do us the honor, please?
Please stand. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Buenas tardes. Para miembros del público tenemos intérpretes en español disponibles. Si ustedes necesitan los servicios de los intérpretes, estamos ahí atrás por estas puertas. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. We also have headsets available for the hearing impaired if those are needed. We will begin our meeting with introductions, proclamations, presentations, and recognitions. Dr. Cash.
Thank you very much. I'm going to start by asking the following people to please join me at the podium there, and that would be Norma Marquez, Sharon Henning, Don Zemer, Jack Hufford, and John Capilio. John, did I mispronounce your last name?
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
His mother did the same thing. Wow, this is a tough group. Well, I'm surrounded by some of the most incredible dons that Santa Barbara High School has ever had the opportunity and pleasure to graduate and to work with. And I can't thank this group enough. This is the Santa Barbara High School's Building Restoration Committee. And they have done an unbelievable job in restoring parts of Santa Barbara High School. I want to thank them. I think it's important to remember Santa Barbara High School is recognized as the third oldest high school in California. And in fact, 2 years ago, bestcollegeonline.com wrote that Santa Barbara High School was number 4 on the top 10 of incredibly beautiful high schools that put yours to shame. I love that title. Over the summer, this group helped facilitate a real restoration and renovation of the front of Santa Barbara High School's campus. They cleaned and essentially recreated the facade. Those entrances literally now seem to glow when you drive up to Santa Barbara High and look at them. I understand that they appealed to private donors and they raised almost $160,000. Does that sound about right? Incredible. But that isn't all they've done on campus. I mean, you can see that. It's very pretty. They've done a ton of other stuff as well, including fixing uneven concrete sidewalks, repairing and painting curbs, scraping and painting windows, installing donated bike racks, putting up the flagpole near the J.R. Richards Gym, and a host of other improvements. These group, and I know they represent a large group of volunteers as well, have done on that campus. I'd have to say our community and certainly our district is fortunate to have such a group of dedicated dons. And I know they proudly wear the olive and gold and represent the olive and gold everywhere that they go. And I would say, and I know we have some dons on the dais today, and I learned this during about the first month I was the superintendent here, this very important phrase, once a don, always a don. And I think this group embodies that phrase to the greatest extent possible in our community. And on behalf of the school district and the Board of Education, I'd like to present this plaque to you, which says, with appreciation for the association's ongoing support of Santa Barbara High School students, staff, and buildings, from the Board of Education, September 24th, 2013. So, no.
Oh, all right, I'll take it.
I want to shake each of your hands and thank you very much for your hard work. Thank you.
We give it to her because she does all the book work.
Thank you. So, and I know you brought some stuff for us to share, so I'm going to give the microphone over to you all.
You want to show it, and you can tell them what it's all about.
Well, we have 3 photo boards. The first one is before the restoration, and then we showed one that is during the restoration, which shows how some workmen were fixing it, and then another one after. And you know, when you look at those schools, you can't tell what's really happening because they're so high and far away. But when you look at these close-ups of what was coming apart, you'll see where it went to.
And the very top of the school, just because of the years, you know, it's 89 years old, that it was, you know, wind, rain, fog, everything, just beat it up like somebody went up with a shotgun and blew holes and everything. So they came in, they used this new resin, put on, that's what it looked like before, and they finished it all up like that. People were excellent. John, he helped us all the way through to make sure we got everything right. And he's not here, but I'd like to say one thing about David Heppion. David Heppion was so great showing us the things we need to do a lot. Anyway, wouldn't let me do anything at midnight and on.
Well, thank you very much. Great to see the work. Thank you for your commitment to the school and our students.
Well, once a dawn, always a dawn. That's pretty clear. On September 6, 2013, a district employee noticed a few pellets on the La Colina Junior High School site that had not disintegrated properly and did not appear to be in the same shape and color used in past applications. And this was during a pest management process that we were engaged in at La Colina and 3 other sites. The school district's integrated pest management consultant, Phil Boyce, was contacted and responded by visiting the site and collecting samples of the bait that had not yet disintegrated. The unauthorized pesticide had been applied on the La Colina Junior High School campus on August 12, 2013, 14 days prior to the start of school. It was determined that the job contractor, AgriTurf, was to have applied PCQ diphencyonine bait to control the school's squirrel population, but without district's knowledge, he applied zinc phosphide, an unauthorized pesticide. In total, PCQ diphencyonine had been applied at 3 sites: the La Colina OAS Alta Vista campus, the Monroe Elementary School campus, and the La Cumbre Santa Barbara Community Academy campus. At the time of the inspection, it appeared that the pesticide in question had already disintegrated. The pesticide error was reported to the Agricultural Commissioner's Office, who recommended remediation of the quad area at La Colina as appropriate. The remediation was scheduled for Saturday, September 14, 2013. The pellets were vacuumed, the contents were disposed of off-site in accordance with the recommendation, and the area was covered with mulch. There is no evidence of any remaining pellets in the turf area. Both agencies, the Agricultural Commissioner and the Worker Health and Safety Branch of the State Department of Pesticide Regulation, confirmed that the pellets in the area have disintegrated and pose no health hazard. Both agencies indicated they do not feel there is danger at this time. They do not recommend any further action. The incident was reported to authorities as soon as the matter came to light. The school district asked for an investigation, and the recommended mitigation measures were taken, as recommended by Phil Boyce, our IPM consultant. A September 13th letter from David Hetjunk, the district's Director of Facilities and Operations and IPM coordinator, was mailed to staff and families at all 6 schools, informing them of the situation. The letter was reviewed by the integrated pest management consultant and affirmed as being accurate. There's been some speculation about a foul smell on September 17th on the La Colina campus. The parents of 2 students did come forward with a complaint. To our knowledge, they were the only complaints that we received regarding the smell. The smell was originally identified as sulfur. The cause of that odor was attributed to a faulty gas regulator serving the 300 and 400 buildings on campus. Upon identification, the gas company was called. The gas was immediately shut off and the regulator was replaced. This matter was promptly taken care of. Students and staff were not at risk, and the regulator replacement had no connection to the pesticide application. And that ends the superintendent's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cash. Board, do we have any comments or correspondence that we would like to share? No. I will share that on Saturday, the 21st of September, a few of us were actually at the Santa Barbara Health Fair. the community health, actually several of us, as I look around the room, were at the community health fair. And it was, I think, a well-attended event. I know that when I left at the end of the day, over 250 families had had health screenings. And it really reminded me about the importance of collaborating with county, with city on these projects, because unfortunately, 3 students, they found that 3 students had diabetes and 1 parent also had diabetes that was undiagnosed. So it was really thanks to these health fairs, making them accessible. There were free laptops raffled and bikes and all kinds of fun stuff, but I also think that that's really important to note that some of this work that we do with community organizations, with city, with government, are very important because they yield important information that can help our students. So I do want to thank all those involved at the district with that, and I hope that that continues and that that partnership gets stronger. So thank you. And with that, we will go to announcement of closed session action. There is no reportable action for closed session, and we will move on to public comments.
Yes, we do have 3 comments. You will have 3 minutes each, and you'll get a 30-second warning. And it's going to be Janet Hope. And I apologize if I'm saying Janet when I should be saying Jeanette. And then David Shapiro, followed by Marilyn Lauer. If the 2 of you would like to switch order, that's absolutely fine. David Shapiro, then.
Before I start, I just want to formally ask if I can have more time to respond, because given the serious health implications, and if you say no, I just want that on the record.
We can give you an additional minute to respond.
Can I have more than 1 minute? We're talking about something very serious. Can I have maybe, until, as long as it takes to solve, maybe 3 minutes more?
We don't have this as an agendized action item, so we can give you 3 minutes, and if you'd like an additional minute, we can give that to you, but at this time, we can't make this an agenda item because it's not itemized.
To the press in the room that I've got 1 extra minute to discuss this. So can you stop me after a minute? I just want to respond to Dr. Cash's comments. There were many, many kids that experienced these symptoms. Maybe 2 only knew the appropriate methods to get to you to report to, and had the courage to report it to the district. But certainly we're aware, and we actually have documentation of many more kids than that. So they're not just 2 kids that are exposed. We're also concerned that the hypothesis floated by the district that this is related to a gas smell does not fit the timeline, does not fit the symptomatology line, and doesn't serve as at least a guaranteed explanation. We're not convinced what caused the fume event of 9/17, but we do think it's very unlikely it was the gas leak. And we're not saying there wasn't a gas leak, but we don't think that was the cause. Certainly there's no basis to guarantee it is the cause. So I would like to make this an agenda item, but 2 weeks is a long time to go when we're dealing with toxic things on campus. I would like some suggestions for you how to expedite this. If we could arrange a meeting, I'd be happy to do that, take time off work, whatever it takes. Anyway, that's just my response to Dr. Cash, but I can go ahead and start with my prepared comments. If you like. So if you can start my clock now. I'm Dr. David Shapiro. I'm here representing PEPS, Parents for Excellence in Public Schools. And I'm really not here to place any blame, but we're here to look for solutions. And to that end, we really have some questions that we want answered. We do think transparency is critical, and we think that expertise and competency is critical. So here's my list of questions. I'll read them fast because we have a limit on time. 1, how did a prohibited and highly toxic substance, zinc phosphide, end up on the La Colina campus in the first place? Were there safeguards to prevent this? Are safeguards now in place to prevent this from happening again? And if so, what are they? 2, after ZP was discovered, why was the district parent notification letter so misleading? The district letter misrepresents the toxicity of ZP by portraying it was only mildly, quote unquote, mildly per the district letter toxic per the EPA level 3 out of 4, but it turns out that ZP, in terms of its inhalation route, is given a 1 out of 4, the highest possible toxic rating by the EPA, also for the ingestion route. Why were parents told that ZP degrades in 14 days when the EPA website actually specifically says 40% of ZP can remain up to 5 weeks after installation in a dry climate such as the climate we've been having during that time? How much ZP was placed on La Colina? Do we know? An ounce, a ton? If 40% of a ton is still there, that's terrifying. Even 20% of a ton is terrifying. Who is doing the remediation? What are their qualifications and credentials? What is the remediation plan? The district has mentioned Agricultural Commission, but does the Agricultural Commission have experience in a school site as opposed to an agricultural site or an agrarian site? What are the plans for post-remediation verification? Who will be doing this? What are their qualifications? And 7, what actually happened on the fume event on 9/17, in which we can probably get close to 100 students that were exposed to a strong sulfur garlic smell with an onset of headache, stomach cramping, nausea, inability to concentrate, and malaise. Was this somehow related to the ZP given the remediation efforts? Was perhaps, as Dr. Cash told us, mulch placed on top of ZP? Was that moisture causing hydrolysis into phosphine gas? We don't know. PEPSIS is in possession of an email dated 9/19, which reassures us that there was no more odor and that no gas leaks have been found. So this, whatever gas leak Dr. Cash is referring to had been found after 9/19, and its closing off the gas leak happened after the odor resolved. So it does not appear it was causing the odor. Number 8, is there any ongoing monitoring for the presence of phosphine gas on campus, particularly given the events of 9/17? If not, why? Remember, phosphine gas can cause toxicity below the smell threshold. PEPS feels that transparency is critical, particularly given the opaqueness of the district notification letter, in order to regain the public trust after a prohibited and toxic substance was placed on the campus inhabited by several hundred students each day. PEPS simply wants to see the ZP remediated promptly, completely, and safely by qualified experts. We do think that this requires a level of expertise beyond what is in-house available to the district. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shapiro. Ms. Hope? Dr. Hope?
Hi, I'm Dr. Jeanette Hope. I'm board certified in environmental medicine, sit on the board of the American Academy of Environmental Medicine and Global Indoor Health Network, and am the current president-elect of the American Academy of Environmental Medicine. I share all of Dr. Shapiro's concerns, and I just want to discuss a little bit about the medical aspect of phosphine gas. As he shared, it's highly toxic. It's an extremely flammable, explosive gas that is a respiratory irritant and a multi-system toxicant that can cause pulmonary edema, central nervous system depression, cardiovascular collapse, and death. Gastrointestinal symptoms are usually the first to appear on exposure: nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, and diarrhea. There have been, the literature is full of case reports of deaths that have occurred from similar exposures to the school. There was a family with 2 children that had an outdoor rodenticide exposure that resulted in the death of 2 children living in the home. There have been other cases of indoor exposures. The literature actually reviews cases of 6 to 16-year-old girls who had exposures either by inhalation or ingestion, had no symptoms whatsoever, and died as a result of their exposure after they performed physical exertion. It is important to note that children are more vulnerable than adults. Children exposed to the same levels will receive larger dose because they have greater lung-to-surface area, smaller body mass, other variables. They do not respond the same to chemicals as adults do, and chronic exposure to phosphine gas at very low concentration may result in anemia, bronchitis, gastrointestinal disturbances, visual, speech, and motor disturbances. Children exposed may be at more serious risk because they have a longer latency period. The issue of latency is very important. Most deaths from this exposure occur within 24 hours. Liver failure complications start at 72 hours. Again, this is after they've been removed and may be entirely asymptomatic. This gas comes from aluminum, zinc phosphide, calcium phosphide, any of the metal phosphides. For central nervous symptoms, headache, dizziness, balance disturbances are common. Respiratory, chest tightness, cough. What's especially concerning is subacute poisonings. The lower level poisonings can result in symptoms of reactive airway dysfunction syndrome, which is wheezing, shortness of breath, which can appear months after the exposure. And again, as noted, the odor is not a reliable indicator of exposure to these agents. The reports of gas are ongoing. We have had another report today of a child who smelled a strong rotting fruit-like smell and had chest discomfort and dizziness. So I am not at all confident that this issue has been addressed and resolved, and I do not think it's safe. And I'm not sending my child to school. My husband and I are both physicians, and we will not send our daughter until this issue is resolved.
Thank you, Dr. Hope. Ms. Lauer.
Good evening. My name is Marilyn Lauer, and I'm a special education teacher here at Santa Barbara School Districts. A teacher at our school last year was assigned a 50% position at 2 different schools, and we found this a very difficult position to be in. Despite our department's attempt through letters, written letters, email, and phone calls to address this issue, we did not get satisfactory results. In fact, we were told by the executive director of special education that through her secretary that she would not meet with us. This has been resolved now, and we're very grateful to that. We don't think that any split of teachers at 2 schools is an effective way to deal with special education. This year, the district also ran a query through our SACE system, which is our online special education data keeping system, to look at the number of one-to-one aides, and actually that only shows a very partial picture of what is needed in special education. Peabody Charter School aides began their work year, and after one day